So in our previous video, we understood the authentication flow in our next authentication app. Okay, so if you have not yet watched, actually the video has been scheduled. So today, the first video will be publicly released. It has been scheduled to 12 p.m. Okay, so the video will be publicly released today only. If you'll check out, I can show you my YouTube dashboard. Okay, so the both of the videos have been scheduled to like today the first video will be published and tomorrow the second video will be published. Okay, so you can see I have also provided you the diagram that this is the diagram that I had exported. Okay, now what I will do is I will add database and some models to my application. Now what I will do is I will go here and write here pnpm add. Notice that I'm writing inside the terminal pnpm add mongoose. Okay, pnpm add mongoose. Now, after writing this pnpm add mongoose, it will add mongoose dependency to this package.json. You can see it has added mongoose dependency. Okay, now what I will do is, so here uh, I will create inside the src folder. I will create a lib directory. Okay, inside that lib directory, let us create a db.js file. Now, in this file, what I will do is first of all, I have to import mongoose from mongoose module, then export const connect, okay, connect db is equal to async function, which is an asynchronous function. Okay, now if mongoose dot connections 0 dot ready state, if the zeroth connection or the first connection is already ready, just return, just do nothing. But if that is not, return true, let's say by returning a boolean value. If this is not the case, then await mongoose dot connect, because in the production environment, we'll be using something called MongoDB Atlas, and MongoDB Atlas will be located on a different server within the same country, or let us say different country. Okay, so we always need to await the MongoDB connections. Now, to use MongoDB, what you can do is, wait a second, to use MongoDB, you have to go to MongoDB slash try slash download slash community. Now, this is the community server of MongoDB that you can install on the system. Now, if you don't want to install MongoDB on the system, what you can do is you can use the Docker instance of MongoDB. Now, Docker might be confusing for some beginners. Okay, so Docker is something that allows you to use the images of various databases or various things. Like you can use the PostgreSQL image or the MongoDB image without installing MongoDB on your computer separately. Okay, so you can use Docker, or let us say better thing is for beginners. I will suggest you to go for MongoDB Atlas. Okay. MongoDB Atlas is MongoDB on the cloud. So if I'll show you the Atlas, MongoDB Atlas, now if I'll click on the get started button and I will sign it into my account. Okay. Let's just sign it into our account. So I think I had linked my Google account. Okay. Let's wait. Okay, so you can see it has redirected me to my cloud.mongodb.com account. That is my MongoDB cluster. Okay, on the cloud. Okay, so your organization doesn't have a design security contact. Uh, I don't know why it's doing that. I will just ignore that for and just ignore that. Now monitoring for cluster 0 is paused. Actually, I had created a cluster. Now, if you want to create another cluster, let us say I'm just deleting this cluster and I want to create a new cluster. Okay, so I will just do one thing. Terminate this cluster. Wait a second. I'm just showing you how to create one cluster. I'm just terminating my cluster, my own cluster. Now, first of all, it will ask you for your organization name. Now I have given it my own organization, Codiclux organization. It will ask you for your organization name, then it will ask you for the project name. I have provided it the YouTube tutorial. Now you can create multiple projects, but the limitation with the particular free version is that you can only have 0.5 GB or let us say 512 MB of data inside a MongoDB cluster if you're using MongoDB Atlas. Now I have already installed MongoDB Compass on my system. If I'll go here and type MongoDB, if I'll type, it will show me my MongoDB Compass. Now, if I'll show you my MongoDB Compass, the UI looks something like this. Uh, Wait for a second. Okay. So this is the UI for MongoDB. And if I connect to my MongoDB, you can see I have a bunch of databases. I'm working on a various number of projects on YouTube tutorials, you can say. But by default, you will have this test database, local database, config database, and admin database. Let me just go ahead and delete all the databases. Wait, I'll just delete all the databases. Yeah, I'm just deleting all the databases. I know this is a waste of time, but I'm just deleting all the databases that I'm having. Wait for a second. I'm just done with deleting all my databases. Now you can see I have deleted all the databases. Now this is the database. Now what happens is if you're not providing any database name in your MongoDB URI, it by default creates this text database so that you can test various endpoints in your application. Now this is the local database and startup log. Now you can see there are a bunch of logs like when did I start my that MongoDB services, and this is config. I don't know what is it about, and we don't have any admin. We don't have any collection inside the admin because we are not using any authentication. Now, if you click on this three dots, if you see, we are getting this copy connection string. Now, if I'll copy that and go ahead and create one .env file, .env. Okay, MongoDB underscore URI. Okay, and paste it here. You will see that this is my MongoDB URI and I'll provide it next authentication. Okay, next authentication. Now, if I'll close that, I will close that and just write your process.env dot mongo underscore. We can do one thing. We can do one thing that inside the lib, we can create a config.js file. Okay, export const config. And we can do what we can do is uh, mongodb underscore URI. Okay, so we can declare it as we can write it as like this process.env.mongodb URI. Okay, and what I can do is I can do one thing that I will import config. Okay, dot config dot MongoDB UI. Now, this is one easy technique that if you don't want to type in all the thingies like this MongoDB URI and all, and what you can do is actually export const config. Now, what I will do is I can do one thing. I can just write here directly export const MongoDB URI that equals to process.env dot MongoDB URI, but I want to keep it like this only. Okay, this is my config. Okay, let me just name it as config-env because we don't want any conflicts. If any other if any other package creates this config file, then there will be some conflict. So I named it as config-env. Okay, so this is config.mongodb URI. Okay, I'm just importing this MongoDB URI from the config env.js. Okay, now if I'll see the MongoDB cluster, now you'll see that I am getting this builder cluster. Now, after creating a new organization and your new project, it will by default ask you for building a cluster. Now, if I'll click on this create cluster, and you can see it will ask me my cluster name. You can name it anything. I'll provide this only this default cluster 0. You can just click on this preload sample dataset, and you can choose your nearest region. I'm in India, so I'll choose Hyderabad. Okay, and here are some tags and some things. Now, by default, it will select this M10, but I'll suggest you to go for this free one for now because this will cost $0.08 per hour. Now I'll click on this create deployment. Now it will create one deployment and it will just go ahead and uh, like it will ask me for connection. Now I have installed MongoDB Compass. If you are not yet installed, you can install that. Now cluster 0 is provisioning because it's trying to deploy the cluster 0 on the cloud. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, now we are done with that. Okay, let us wait for some time. Till then, what we'll do is we'll build out our connections. Now, this is the MongoDB connection. Now, it is not expressed that we'll go ahead and call the connectDB function inside the layout.js file. Not like that. We have to call this function separately on each and every API route or each and every server action that we'll be creating. Now let us create a models directory. Now inside this models directory, we'll have two models that we had talked about, user.model.js. Okay, user.model.js, and another one is uh, password password reset token model.js. Okay, we can also store the password reset token inside the user model, but we'll be not doing that. Now not export actually, const user schema is equal to new mongoose dot scheme. Now this increases some redundancy. Now you'll see it has directly imported like using the common JS, but we'll be following the ES modules conventions. Import mongoose from mongoose, and we'll also import schema from mongoose. Okay, schema, new schema. Now we'll define some schema properties. First one is the name. Okay, let us see the diagram. Let us see the diagram. So we have the let us say we have the name profile. Okay, name. Then we have the profile. Okay, profile will have nested ones. It is a nested one. So we'll have address string. Okay, not like this. Actually, what you can do is we can just write here. Let us put an array address that is of type string. Okay, and then we can have the phone. Okay, phone type string. You can also store additional data if you want. Okay, so then we'll have the username type string. Okay, and this is required true and unique true. Now what happens is in VS Code, if you're using TypeScript, you will get better suggestions than if you're using JavaScript in VS Code. But if you want JavaScript suggestions, you can use WebStorm also. WebStorm provides suggestions for both. Yeah, VS Code also provides, but in this case, like if you're using Next.js or React, if you want better suggestions, okay, so you can use TypeScript. Now we'll have a password field. Sorry, password should be the key or the property of the schema. Now this is type string. Okay. I required true. Then we'll have the is verified field, that is type will be boolean. Okay, and default will be false. Now the user will be not verified by default. Then we'll have verify token, verify token, okay, type string, then verify token expiry. Okay, so this will be of type date. Okay, now what I can do is I will just provide here another thing, that is timestamps true. Now this will insert created at and updated at fields automatically to your scheme, to your model scheme. Okay, now export. Now I'll write const user model is equal to await, no, sorry, not await, mongoose.model user, okay, and then user scheme. Okay, now we have to do something like this: mongoose.models is equal to this empty object. Okay, and export will do something like this: user model. Just save that, and we'll go inside password reset token model. So password reset token schema. Okay. We'll do one thing. We'll store the user. Now notice that the type will be schema dot types dot object ID, because we'll have one-to-one relationship, and it will be required true. And what I will do is I will go ahead and reference this to the user model. Okay, and we'll have two fields. Let us say this two fields. Okay, reset token and reset token expiry, and this is no longer, it will be no longer called this user model, rather it will be called password reset token model, and this what password reset token. Now in MongoDB, what happens is if you're providing the singular names, behind the scenes it will be converted into plural, and all the name will be in lowercase. Okay, all the letters will be in lowercase. Now let us see if our cluster has been provisioned. Okay, so we can just click on loading sample data. Now, so we are using JavaScript and Node.js. We'll get the connection string. Now you can see this is the sample code they are providing. Now if you copy this cluster string, okay, copy this cluster string. Now you have to provide the database password, DB password. Okay. Now what I will do is I will open my MongoDB and disconnect from this particular connection, and I'll go to connections, and no, sorry, I'll create a new connection. Okay, I'll click on this plus icon and I'll create a new connection. Now I'll paste in the database URL, the URI, MongoDB URI. And what can I do is I'll go ahead to database access. Okay, and I have this Atlas admin. Okay, let us say edit, edit password, auto generate. I think database access. Wait a second. Edit password, auto generate, copy, and update user. And network access, I will allow all the IPv4 addresses. Now I'll delete this particular IP, and this will, wait a second, let me add one IP. I'll show you. Add on IP, allow access from anywhere. Like I will be allowing access for anywhere. Okay. Now this will allow access from anywhere, from any corner of the world. All the IPv4 addresses will be allowed. Now you will see that it is going. to ask my password, I'll paste that. Now, if your password is containing some special characters, let me suggest you URL encoder. It will search for URL encoder. You can find out this website where what happens is if we'll create some password like containing @ and hashtags or any special character, if I click on encode, it will create the encoded URL or encoded string. You can get the encoded string from here, but you can use JavaScript also. You don't need to visit this website. You can use the native JavaScript methods like encode URI component and decode URI component for encoding and decoding your values. Now, yeah, I have provided the password. Choose a color. What color do you like? I will choose a blue color. And advanced connection options, that is authentication. This is the username and password. Let me copy the connection string and copy this connection string, save and connect. Okay. Now, if I save and connect to my database, you will see I am having some uh, sample databases, sample data. Embedded movies, there are 2,300 data present here in embedded movies, and they have added a lot of data, a lot of sample data. You can use this to understand uh, MongoDB very clearly. You can use that, and they have a lot of users also. Okay, and a lot of passwords that have been encoded using bcrypt. Okay, so what I will do is uh, now what can I do is actually I can go ahead and change this database URL to my production based database URL. Okay, so this is my production environment database URL. But for now, we'll be not connecting our application to this cloud database. Rather, we'll be using this particular localhost database. Now, notice that if I click on connect, it can connect to multiple things. Now, I want to test whether I'm connecting to the database or not. Okay, console.log connected to database, and I want to see that whether I'm connected to the database or not. What can I do is if I want to check like if I'm connecting to the database, let me go to page.js. Can I call the connect db here? Connect db. It. So if I'll save that and let us see, yeah, we are connecting to the database. We can connect to the database. There is no issue in connecting to the database. I'll just add this console log, but in the production part, we'll be removing that. Now, if I'll go inside this local host and refresh this, will not have any like collection called like next authentication. If we'll add data, we can have that. Okay. Now we don't have any configurations here. Okay, so let us just close this and we are done with the password reset token model and the user model. Okay, so I will meet you in the next video. Thank you so much guys for watching this video and I will see you next time.